I'm Tash.
And hey, I'm Nix.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Hi, bitches.
Hey.
And gentlemen.
Yeah, and gentlemen. We forget about y'all.
Because y'all ain't shit. Just kidding. How was your day today?
It was good. This has been a really chill Saturday. I went out last night.
I know. But I'm really nosy with Tasha's life for some reason.
She is. She always like, who you with? Raise up the camera. I'm
Please,
girl,
raise it up a bit. It's like, who is on?
I'm with the same friend.
Exactly. Always. It's literally a shock when she's not with the same people. I'm like, excuse me, where are you going? I'm literally always in her business. It's my bad, but okay. We'll be here next week. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I didn't do shit. We woke up. I went and got my son's haircut, and then came to shoot this lovely podcast.
Of course. This is the highlight of your week, obviously.
Honestly, at this point,
Mimosas, hanging out with me,
big hair, you know what I'm saying?
Big hair, big buns.
Hey.
Nicole, do you remember that movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
So you know what? I didn't start watching Tyler Perry movies until I got way older. Because remember they used to be plays, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it. That's probably a lot of his movies are a little. I don't come from him because come for him because I really do like him. I think he is dope in general.
Yeah.
Just the whole concept of who he is, who he was, how he started. I think it's amazing. But sometimes the movies are hit or miss for me. But whatever. But yeah, Diary of a Mad Black Woman is probably one of my favorite ones of his because man, it was rough. You know.
Remember that scene in the beginning when she goes back to their mansion or whatever? She thinks he bought her a whole wardrobe of clothes, and she finds out it's for his new bitch.
Never.
Oh wow. And then he drags her out of he throws her out of the mansion. This is so disrespectful. And she was all heartbroken and just in shambles after that.
It reminds me of what's that movie with Angela Bassett? She set the car on fire. Same concept, you know? She was getting ready for her night out. What is it called? We should know this.
We should really know this.
Don't come for us. I'm sorry.
We
know
a classic Black
movie. I just watched it. I remember Whitney Houston's song in my head right now.
Damn it.
Dang it.
We'll later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. But no, maybe we'll add it. You know, right there. Cash add it. But no, same concept. She was getting ready to go out. She was brushing her hair. And then he was like, I'm going to dinner. Or I'm going to the event, but not with you. I'm taking her. What? Nigga.
I would have burned the whole house down, Left Eye style. I really would have lost it. Somebody did that to me? What?
And she sat there brushing her hair what do you mean, Charles? Girl, bye.
Man, my favorite part of that movie is when she gets her revenge because he's paralyzed and she throws him to the top and he damn near drowns.
He's
yeah. I was
go to hell. No, but that heartbreak shit is real. She was heartbroken for a long time until she got to that point, you know? And I could definitely relate to heartbreaks. I know you've had some yourself. Maybe not necessarily to that extent of being cheated on or whatever,
or thrown out of my house.
Hell no. I've definitely had a tough heartbreaker too, but not like that.
Yeah, that was pretty dramatic. It's Tyler Perry, so it's to be expected.
And I remember my first heartbreak. I'm gonna save this other one for another time because I wouldn't really consider. He was technically my first boyfriend in high school, but I don't want to use him. I'm gonna use my first boyfriend in college, first real true boyfriend in college. I loved him so much, you know, and he was he belonged to the streets, literally. He was great in every aspect. He was super sweet. It was when I was kind of controlling with, you know, he was just free spirited. But the truth is I didn't have time. He could give me anything. He did his best to, you know, he was so sweet, but I didn't get his time, you know? And especially when we would go back home for the summers or the breaks or whatever, you know, the streets was calling him, you know what I'm saying? And so you know, what do you can't compete with the streets, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the real thug, you know? So that's their first love, you know? But no, he was the first person I really, truly was in love with. And that heartbreak was so bad after, like, I remember I broke up with him. And I was just like, you know what? You're not giving me the time. Like, I felt devastated. Like, I remember thinking, like, sitting back thinking about it now. Because we used to communicate via email. We used to communicate on Yahoo. And, like, we had cell phones. But, you know, it was, like, anytime that it's, like, only from this time to this time. Or they free, you know? So, before then, you know. By the time they were free, though, he was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know the streets was calling him like that. So, but, yeah, when we finally broke up, I just had enough. And, you know, it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't too much to ask for a little bit of your time, you know? And he felt like he was giving me the time, but he was really hanging with his homeboys. I mean, he was young, too. Like, I think he was, like, a year or two younger than me. And that's not an excuse or anything, but, you know, I really did love him. And it really, like, killed me. Like, I just remember just feeling like he's moving on without me. Like, seeing, like, him with, like, another woman after. Like, that shit killed me, you know? Yeah. I remember I moved to Texas. And he moved to Maryland. And, like, he would always keep in touch with me, but I remember deep in my heart, I kept thinking, like, maybe he would come back, or maybe he would see, you know what I'm saying, like, that I really did love him, and I still loved him, you know, but it didn't, he just, you know, he was having fun and living his life, and eventually I had to realize I had to do the same, you know. Then I turned into a savage for a little bit.
So, since he was living his life out there in the streets, is he still free today, or does he have an inmate number?
He does. I'm actually going to send him a Christmas card.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Help a homie out, you know what I'm saying?
Is he ever like, we put like, you know, $5 on my
No,
notes?
never. He wouldn't ever either. I mean, he's straight. Just trust me on that one. He's good.
Does he have
like,
kids?
He has a son, yeah. And he's
Girl, you
so
could be on Love After
adorable.
Lockup.
Girl, why? No.
No,
because he left, because he was ready for the streets, and he was ready for me back in the day, so too bad. Remember that toxic thing I talked about last episode? Yeah, I'm holding a grudge. Like, forever, okay? No, but I remember, like, if you don't heal from a heartbreak, you will break other people's hearts. That's something, because I literally broke a heart after that. And one thing I realized once I got more mature, I was like, damn, that was really messed up of me. And I did reach out and apologize to that guy. And I felt really, really bad. Like, I really, after the fact. During it, I was like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But unless you truly heal, you're going to break someone else's heart. So.
Hurt people.
They do.
That's a fact.
Cheers to that. Cheers.
Aww.
What about you?
So, last year, as you know, I met this guy like on a dating app. It was like right before the 4th of July. And he came pick me up. We went on like a first date, and it was like the best first date I've ever had.
What did you do?
We went out to eat. I forgot the name of the place is called. Some like Cajun restaurant or something. And then we went to Dave & Buster's. And we just sat and talked. And it was really good. Like, we like instantly, like, we had like an instant connection with somebody. It was kind of like one of those. Yeah. So, after that, pretty much damn near we spent almost every day together for like the next 3 months. Like, I went to weddings with him. I met his family. I mean, we were like, for a minute. And like, even you thought like, oh, like this is going to be a relationship.
I did. I remember the first time I saw you guys interact with each other, like when I came down. And I was like, we all went out, and he was meeting us with like a friend of his, 2 friends of his. Yeah. And I remember seeing him like kiss you on the mouth. I was like,
oh. I remember you were so dramatic.
Yeah. Like, ooh. Excuse me, Tash, what the hell's going on here? And you just seemed like it was just so normal. So I was just like, okay, you know, like I'm here for it then. First of all, I agree with you. I thought he was dope. I was like, man, he is a king. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought he was everything. I was so happy, like, literally so happy. Yeah. You would snap me guys sometimes. I was like, oh, my heart.
Yeah, I definitely liked him more than I've liked anybody ever. So I definitely thought, like, it was going to be long term. So, fast forward to, like, 3 months later. So, like, while we were seeing each other, like, he had a job that was, like, part-time, and he was in school. And I'm the type of person, like, okay, like, he has potential.
I mean, he did, though, and that's real. He did.
Yeah. When I edit this, I should just put, like, the clown emoji in front of my face, because that was the first, like, red flag. Yeah, but it's like men though, like if they don't have their life together, usually they can't really have anything else together. Like if they're not where they really want to be or they're not comfortable.
Correct.
So it's kind of one of those situations where, you know, he was in that space. He finally got like some opportunities to do things. He like played like flag football and stuff and got paid for it. So he's getting more opportunities there, and a lot of stuff was like taking up a lot of his time. And I can say like I'm a little bit default too, because like I was so used to like being with him all the time that I wasn't really like understanding of him having new opportunities and not being able to like spend as much time with me. But it got to the point where it was like I wasn't hearing from him as much anymore. Like I felt like there was like no effort at all on his part. So it ended up just like ending just like that. And when I tell you I was in shambles,
it just, I remember thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie, my heart was broken for her. I was so upset. Like to this day, I was still gonna beat his ass. Like I was so upset. Like I remember when he first started separating like himself from you, and I'd be like encouraging, like just talk to him, tell him how you really feel. Just be like, instead of being defensive, just be like, hey, I really miss you, and I miss the time we spent. You know what I mean? And you actually did it, and I'm like, okay. And it seemed like it was working, but then it seemed like it was sort of like out of the blue type of thing, and it just really pissed me off.
Like it just ended so fast, and it was so weird, especially after you spend like that much time with somebody, for it to just like end fast like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was in shambles for weeks. Like I'm an emotional Pisces. I didn't even tell you this. I like literally cried.
Oh.
Like I was in shambles.
I would have been
for like the next like couple months after that. I didn't even like see anybody. Because I would go on a date and I was even like, I couldn't even be like my mind there, because like I need time. Like I'm not the type of person that can just move on fast like that.
That's right to do though.
And then Nicole, finally when I thought like, okay, like I'm over it, like I'm getting over, I'm ready to get back out there, you know, whatever. I'm ready to get back in these streets, you know. Get back to the savage I was before I met him. I get on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm even still following him at this point. Like, I feel like when you end something with somebody, stop following them on social media.
Please do.
It's the worst thing you do to yourself.
You're just gonna hurt yourself.
Well, I clicked the video and it's like him and some girl like out somewhere, and I'm like,
he sent me it too. I'm like scrolling through
wow.
another girl, like, who the fuck is this hoe?
I'm like, wow, really? Damn, we just moved on like that. I was in shambles. So it took me a while to get over that. That was heartbreaking.
It was.
You asked me like, were you in love with him? And I'm like, I don't know if I could really say I was like in love. I feel like if I really felt that way, I wouldn't have to think about it. Like, it wouldn't be something I would like deliberate about.
You would,
but I was definitely in strong life, and it was definitely headed towards like that feeling.
I still get mad. Like I still want to jump him, like to this day. But you know, I used to think about it a lot, because when my friends are hurt, I get upset. You know what I mean? Especially when I feel like it's not warranted, and I just hate when anybody does something mean or bad to somebody. You know what I mean? Like it just really pisses me off. But that one especially, because I was just so happy for you. Like I was like, oh my god, finally! And I just feel like I was literally imagining their children at this point, like me babysitting them. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out, and we all have to go through some kind of heartbreak, I guess. But it's a rough one, especially like in your late 20s to have to deal with.
Yeah. And I wanted to like sulk and like, oh my god, I feel sorry for myself. I'm not gonna date anybody else. But it's like, you need to just put one foot in front of the other, because they're moving on with their life.
Correct.
So you need to move on.
No matter what you do.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's for the best. And the truth is, it's like, yeah, we both may have like things at fault. Like maybe you were faulted in some certain instances, and he was as well. But the truth of the matter is, to me, a person who doesn't even give you, like, you don't, closure is a thing to me that people create to keep trying to hang on to something, right? To be honest with you, if you feel like you moved in the right way in that relationship and they did whatever they did, you should just go forward knowing that you have that good energy, that good karma, and it's going to come back to you eventually, because that's BS. You know, like with people who do stuff like that to you, that's because they weren't mature themselves and they had some shit going on with themselves, within themselves, like, that they felt inadequate. And that's a fact, you know?
Closure can be like a tough thing, mainly for women. Like, men don't really need closure, but most of the time.
They just move on. Like, they literally don't care. Not all of them. I feel like depending on, like, their sign. I feel like some signs move on slower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Cancers are little crybabies, and I know Pisces cry too. But now Sagittarius are whores. If you're Sagittarius, it's true. My sister's Sagittarius. She's gonna come for me. That's okay.
She's sexing you as
it's Phil Brittany. Yeah, I know my other heartbreak is very similar. Well, not similar to yours. I mean, just a devastation in general. I would have to say it was my ex-husband. I feel like, you might have heard this in a previous episode, that I started dating this guy when I was younger. Like, we met when I was 21, I believe. We started dating when I was 22. Got married after a few years or whatever. And to be honest with you, there's a lot going on in that situation. But, like, I kept staying in it because I kept thinking, like, the first time I stayed in it was because I was convinced by a pastor to do so. There was some stuff, and we'll touch base on this in another episode when it comes to, like, domestic violence, abuse, etc. But I kept trying to stick it out because it wasn't that often, and I kept getting convinced otherwise. I knew it was wrong, but then I also had my children, and I was like, I don't want them to grow up thinking this is normal, I'm not the person who researches everything. I researched to a T age groups and how divorce affects certain age groups. Literally, I did all that. And I just remember being terrified of, I was that typical, let's stay at home while I work, and then I wasn't treated well in that situation, And then when I finally was working and I wanted to go back to school, there was no support system for me, like, at all, literally. If I wanted someone to watch kids, you need to figure that out. It was just not cool. And I just remember being terrified of, what if I get left and I have nothing, and he leaves me with nothing, and, he treats me like crap. And he did. Everything I was terrified of happening to me actually happened, And I remember the day he sat down and was like, what, are we done? I feel like you're just going through the motions. And I just remember sitting there talking to God, like, because yes, I do believe in God. I'm a Christian. I'm not perfect, like Tash said, in the previous episode. But, I remember talking to him and, like, God, guide my words because I'm done, And I remember he's like, you know what, cool. He's like, I'm going to be out of here. You're going to pay, like, at the time we were looking to buy a house. You're going to pay that for the house on your own. All the bills you're going to pay. Like, literally everything he could do to me, he did it. It was terrifying. It was, like, not terrifying, but it was terrible. It was the worst thing he could ever put me through. And that was the worst heartbreak I had ever been in. And because once I knew I was done and he had moved out, I remember I would cry in my bed. I was just so weak. I couldn't even, like, take care of myself. I only had just enough to take care of my kids. That is it, And I just remember thinking how much of a low point I was at. When I started working at the job that we met at, I would go out on my breaks and cry, and then come back and do my job. Like, I would be so torn up because he would just do things just to, like, get to me, And I just remember thinking, like, I'm going to be strong, I'm going to get through this, but it was the worst heartbreak I have ever had in my life. Like, and it wasn't just like I broke my heart. He broke my heart because I allowed him to, And then even after the fact, I still firmly believe in, like, true love and all that stuff, but I remember after the fact thinking, like, if you ever truly said you love somebody, you wouldn't treat them that way, what I mean? I kept thinking that, but he just kept showing me that he really truly didn't love me, And I had to come to that realization. I had to realize as well that I was already doing it on my own. Like, I did everything, so it wasn't that much of a stretch. I just needed to make sure I was financially dependent, and that's what I did. Like, everything I set my mind out to do, it happened, I think that's one of the things he was afraid of with me. I always accomplish whatever goal I put forth, and some people just can't handle that. But yeah, that was the worst heartbreak I've ever been through, and I just remember trying to, like, navigate out of that world into, like, the dating world, and it took such a long time to even trust another person. Like, it was rough, And yeah, I will say I was strong. I'm grateful that I got out of that situation. It showed me true colors. I still truly believe in true love. I still believe in, like I remember one time we were talking about prenups and stuff. I'm like, I would never request one. I hope my husband, future next husband, if I get married again, I don't know, doesn't request one. I just feel like, listen, if I'm, like, super rich, right, and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, if you want half, I'm going to just give it to you. I'm not a pick-me bitch, trust me. I'm not. at this point, I feel like you wouldn't do that to me. If I choose to marry you with the knowledge that I have all of this, and if it falls apart, you are entitled to half of it. I wouldn't think you as a person who truly loves me, because now I know what true love looks like. I don't think that they would come for me like that, and I wouldn't come for them like that.
Yeah, I guess like my issue with that would be like when people get mad, they show a different side of themselves.
You're right.
So I would just want like to have that security, or I can see why he would want to have that security, but only if like I'm marrying a man where he like really makes money like that. If we both make $60K a year, why you have me sign a prenup? You ain't got nothing I can take.
Facts.
If I did sign a prenup though, it would have a little infidelity clause.
That's the only way.
If you cheat on me, I'm taking everything, including the drawers you got on right now. I'm walking away with it all. So that'd be the only thing.
I don't think I would even hang on like after that.
I feel like I'll be good by myself, so I'm fine with signing your prenup because I'm gonna be good regardless.
True.
So I'm gonna always make sure I'm gonna be straight.
I would be literally offended if someone sent me or gave me a prenup. I would be so offended.
If you broke giving me a prenup, like,
go to hell.
How dare you? Calm down. You ain't got nothing for me to take, so calm down.
All dudes have these days just audacity. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What do you take half of your audacity that you have? Like, no. No thanks. Any more heartbreaks?
So, I don't have any more, like, serious. Well, at the time, it was really serious.
Yeah.
Okay? This is from my childhood. And when you're a kid, you feel like a heartbreak is like the end of the world. You're like, I cannot go on living without this person.
How old was
primary school? I mean, it was literally elementary school.
Girl, bye.
So, there was this guy. He was so cute. He used to like sing like Usher and dance like Usher on the playground. He was so cute.
Oh my god.
I had the biggest crush on him, right?
Oh.
And so I had this best friend back then. Me and her were like really tight. And she knew like I like really liked this little boy or whatever. So one day she comes to school. She gets like a little weave, you know, she gets her hair all did, and you know, I guess she thought she was cute. Period. Do you believe she tried to slide on my man?
You should have slid her a new one. You know what I'm saying? Uppercut that.
I got so mad because, and I'm calling him my man. No, he wasn't like officially, but you know, whatever. And
she knew.
I say he my man, so he's my man.
She knew.
Then, you know, I claimed him, so that's the end of the story. And she's my best friend, so like, how dare her?
Oh wait, she was your best friend?
Yes.
Girl.
I saw them talking to each other, and they were like flirting. You can tell people are like flirting, right?
Girl.
So.
Yeah, out to this day.
I was so mad, and I think even back then I had a little bit of toxic in me. After school, I was so mad at her, Nicole.
What did you do?
I went up to her and I pulled her hair so hard.
I
yanked it. I was so pissed at this girl. I was like, she's sliding on my dude.
This
like,
surprises me that you did this.
Girl, I couldn't fight, right? So I took off running after I yanked her hair. And I'm like, and I was fast, so she couldn't catch me. You know? I was in track and field and stuff in high school. She couldn't catch my ass.
So you yeeted her and ran.
I pulled the out of her hair. Like, her head did one of these. Like,
it
was so hard. And then I, like, darted across the playground, right? My grandma was waiting for me on the other side. She sees me running towards the car, and my best friend sees her, and that's the only thing that stopped her from like chasing me because she's my brother. If she would have caught my ass,
I have a tear in my eye.
If she would have caught me, she would have whooped my whole ass because I couldn't fight then. I can't fight now. Like, she would have thrown hands. Like, she could fight. So I would have got that word.
That would have been pleasant to see. Yeah. I would have loved to see you smash a bitch by her hair.
I was heartbroken because I was like, how dare this bitch? Like, she knew I like really liked.
What grade were you in?
Girl, this had to be like second grade.
Done.
Yeah, we were really young. I still remember that. And when I like got to the car, my grandma was like, "Why are you like running?"
You're sprinting to your grandma.
And at the time, I lied and told her like I think I like said, "Oh, she was like bullying me." Or so I didn't tell the full story of what I had done. Later on in life, I'm talking like a decade later. I was like in high school before I actually told her the truth. about what happened. Do you know that like the grudge ran so deep with me and this girl that we just became Facebook friends like within the last couple of years?
Really?
Yes.
I'm like, we could be here today.
Over that boy, like
she knew what she was doing.
The betrayal.
She's probably stealing people's men today.
The betrayal. Like who does that? Yeah, I was heartbroken.
They just do that stuff though. Like, you know what I mean? Have you ever had a guy that you really liked and like flirted with, or you like really liked him, and then they would end up like, I've had that happen to me before. They made out with him or something like that. I'm like, what the hell? Like, yeah, he wasn't my man, but damn, you knew I liked him. Like, I would never do that.
Girl, I was gonna take that whole clip-on ponytail, rip it right off. I was so mad. She came to school thinking she was cute. Like,
they were like, okay, right?
Okay.
Today.
You don't see the really.
That's what happened. She heard about your man. She's like, I'm gonna put this black gel on my edges and put me a ponytail in.
She moved in on him. I was like, wow, the betrayal. Like, who does that?
She did. She had you fucked up.
That was a traumatic experience.
I can't believe she never
beat me up. Like,
I can't believe you did that in the first place. Did you? Was there a conversation after? Like, hey, no, my bad, I pulled your yucky ponytail.
No, I never
nothing.
No, I know her like head was sore because when I tell you I yanked that shit hard and it burnt off on her.
I just found it so funny. Like I'm literally.
My grandma took me today that story when she seen me running across like the playground. Like I was darting to her car. Luckily she was on time that day because if she wasn't,
girl, you would have been kind.
She would have been.
I'm crying. I just cannot imagine you doing that. It's
me
so
either.
Funny.
Like, girl,
oh
I was
God.
old back then.
You really were. You need to be that same bold bitch, okay?
But man,
Like,
I know she ain't running up on my man. She finna see today.
Well, now that I know how you are, it's so funny though. I just don't imagine you doing something like that. I bet her head still hurts to this day. I bet every time she sees you, she remembers. Like,
next time she sees
next time she tries to see somebody else's man, it's in the,
yeah, she don't remember that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Never mind. So, like,
the betrayal.
Manstealers start in elementary. Just know that.
It'd be your own best friend. Like,
it really does. Same. I remember. I mean, I don't think I really had a girlfriend or a boyfriend in elementary. Like, I liked people. I remember I had like 2 boyfriends in elementary. Roderick and Cedric.
Hey, Roderick. If you're watching.
Roderick was so smart. Oh my God. But
Cedric.
And Cedric, he was like, you know what I'm saying, the thug. Like,
you've been liking them thugs since the beginning of time.
I don't know what's wrong with me. My dad even let me go outside. Oh no. I did though. I was doing the most. Especially last summer, girl. Oh my God. Do you remember when I sent you that Snapchat about old boy? You came out to the hookah bar with us, but
oh
yes. Oh boy.
Yeah.
It was yeah, you talking about me like a thug, she ain't mine. Because when I got in that car and there was a gun in the center console, he's like, you want to drive this car, and I got to drive this one. I'm like, huh? Like, I was like, disclaimer, before you leave me in this car, if I get pulled over, you do know I'm going to tell him it's yours, right? He said, for real? Yes. Yes.
What do you mean for real?
I'm like, I didn't even sign up for this. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. I called Brittany on the phone. Like, Brittany has a gun in the center console. She's like, you stupid bitch. He's like, you over here living your hood back.
What type of advice is that? You called her for like advice and some encouragement?
She's like, because she knew I was delighted. She's like, you stupid bitch. She's like, you just ride around this car. I'm like, yeah, I'm at the light. I'm about to turn left.
The police stop us, sir. This is his.
Exactly. Actually, I'm gonna give you the full name. I'm gonna tell you where he lives.
His name is this. He lives here. He wear a size 10 shoe.
Exactly.
He went to this high school.
I ain't no ride or die. Like, no, thank you.
I don't even know him like that. Like, I don't even like him actually.
Exactly.
Barely. Arrested. Let me know.
That night went from like that to worse. Like it was just then the dude. Like we went to the section after you left. The guy, his girlfriend, dude was checking my messages. First of all, but after I came back to the bathroom,
really weird.
In my phone. Then the guy, the section we were in, one of his friends and the girlfriend that worked there, they get into a brawl. I'm sitting here like, this is beyond me. You know what I'm saying? I was so lit at that point. And I was talking to her because, I mean, she was wrong. Like, she would tell a boy and, like, poke him in the forehead. I'm like, you ain't never that bitch. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then he was like, meek, meek, meek. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, you can't do that. Like, not, like, girl, I was so drunk after they separated. Because, like, can you get your friend, please? You know? I been down to her. I'm like, I know I don't know you, but you probably shouldn't be with him. Like, I was like, you know, you were wrong for like poking him in the forehead, but this doesn't seem like a situation that's going to be good for either one of you. I was just run free on my mind, but yeah, it was a night ended.
Wait, okay. How did he check your phone? You didn't have a lock on your phone?
Nah, girl, I didn't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Girl, always give a lock on.
No, I don't care. I just, my phone was sitting there. It was minding its business and had popped up. And when I walked back out the bathroom, you could see like there's like an opening, and I looked before I walked back to the little section, and he was in there.
Wow.
I was like, damn. And so I just kind of chuckled a little bit and sat down, like, I mean, don't mind if I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? Nah, that's not cool.
That's really weird. I've never caught somebody checking my phone. I've also never checked somebody else's phone. That's really weird.
Me neither.
Wow. Okay. So you're gonna lie to our audience?
I don't know.
You're gonna lie to you?
Okay, I'm lying. I definitely have. I mean, like, I used to not actually, but like I had this feeling in my chest. You know what I'm saying?
In my chest.
Yeah, I did. I had this feeling in my chest.
That was toxic.
And it was wrong. Correct. It was. It really was. And I was dead ass wrong for going through the phone. And to be honest with you, when I went through it, I was more ashamed of myself afterwards because he was like a stand-up guy in the phone, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what you get.
I know. I was trying to. But yeah, I mean, you guys let us know about your heartbreaks. I mean, you can if you want to. Yeah. If you want to like cut somebody out, we're here for that. But yeah, we definitely wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into our lives and our heartbreaks, and let us know what you think about our stories. Definitely like and subscribe to get alerts when we post our new episodes.
Yeah.
Other than that, we good.